Jobs are hard to come by. The state of New Mexico has hired a man with an unusual background. They're taking a chance on him, and his hiring is bound to stir debate. Here's News 13's Kim Holland on special assignment.
It's coming off the grill now. It's good. Would you like salads?
The state has never done it before.
No, JoJo's working on the grill. It sounded a perfect opportunity for me. Drop your sweet fries yet?
David Van Horn is the first.
We're missing a pair of tongs.
If it works out, he won't be the last.
Had people searching the trash.
Van Horn works in the kitchen at the state pen in Santa Fe, serving cadets and staff.
Just the sauce. I want to see a program like this succeed. Double green chili cheeseburger.
He's blazing a trail that could have far-reaching consequences.
Okay. You know that what you're doing could possibly make a change in people's lives and could possibly make a change in our society as general.
The Department of Corrections just hired him as a contract worker.
I need someone to write him up first.
To be the prison's lead cook supervisor.
And I'm going to ask the business community to be open-minded to hire these folks. But if I'm not, how much of a leader am I?
All right. If you don't hear from him by 1, I'll call him.
But Van Horn is not just any worker.
The day I walked out of prison, it was very anxious.
He was an inmate, hired back at the place where he was once locked up.
We shouldn't. We're serving chili rellenos today, so.
Van Horn has called the state pen in Santa Fe home for the past 2 decades. He's the first ex-convict the state has directly hired back.
Yeah, it's cutting some ground.
Corrections Secretary Greg Marcantel took a chance on him for this pilot program.
To make sure that we are leveraging a transition for them back into the community to reduce the probability that they ever create another victim.
And Van Horn did leave a trail of victims.
And then to have this violence.
And sometimes it's like a movie inside your head. And you see all these things happening again, and you want to stop them because you know what's coming next. You want to hit pause, you want to hit rewind, and you can't stop it.
Also arraigned and charged with murder, David Van Horn. He's 20 and from Arizona, too.
In May 1995, Van Horn was 20 when he and a 23-year-old woman terrorized the small town of Verdun in southwest New Mexico.
Here, as cops canvassed the village for
He ransacked a home, then burned it while an elderly married couple was inside, killing the wife. He just recently finished serving his 20-year sentence. The victim's son told us he hoped Van Horn would stay in prison forever.
I'm not who I was 20 years ago. 20 years ago, I was, self-centered, an addict, because I knew if I left prison the exact same way I came in, there's nothing good was going to come of it.
Van Horn promises he's a much different man now. Secretary Marcantel says he's seen it.
This is a violent criminal. His past history has really played a big role in this.
The best prediction of future is past. And you can look at his disciplinary record and we know that he hasn't tried to do those things. We've watched him closely as an inmate.
I learned to make these in prison.
While Van Horn served his 20-year sentence for the murder, he says he took part in inmate programs, counseling, and got 2 associate's degrees. He made and sold jewelry and gave the proceeds to the Ronald McDonald House.
That if I'm going to succeed at the end of this, that I had to start making changes.
He believes he walked out of prison on May 28th, a new man.
For 20 years, I held on to an identity. And when I got to the end of my sentence, I wasn't sure how to shake that. Because my identity was my crimes.
And Van Horn entered a world he didn't recognize.
The internet didn't exist in its current form when I went to prison in 1995. This is a chicken.
The world he did know was here in the kitchen where he worked while he was locked up.
So I gotta see what I have to order.
He's grateful to be a part of the program that will now help him transition into his new life. Van Horn will be on probation for 2 years. The state will monitor his every step.
Where's Gibbs?
It will also be watching his career path to see if the state could expand the program and give other convicts opportunities they might not otherwise get.
To be brutally honest with myself, who wants to hire somebody that was in prison for 20 years on a murder case? Thank you.
Kim Holland, KRQE News 13.
Now, the Corrections Department is paying Van Horn $17 an hour from a fund that comes from inmates selling furniture, jewelry, and vegetables. Now, that's a lot more than rookie corrections officers make. Van Horn is a contract employee and is not considered a state worker, though, so he does not get state benefits that the other public employees do.